That's right. Episode 65 of the Hardline Sports Talk. I'm Michael Merlo. Alongside me, I've got John Michael Masiri. JM, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Mer. I've been running around a little bit today. Shoved some food down my throat, but I'm ready to go. Had fajitas. Big fajita guy.
Yeah, I know you're a big fajita guy.
Well,
That was able to go down the throat quick. All good.
Looking back, when I had my choice of foods to eat quickly before we recorded, I probably shouldn't have done one that literally requires you to build it. I mean, they give you the tortilla on the side and, the steaks in its own compartment and everything like that. You're basically just doing all the work and you still got to buy it for like $15.
Right.
So looking back, probably should have gotten a burrito or something like that, but it's fine.
You picked it up from somewhere? It wasn't made at home?
No, I picked it up.
Where'd you pick it up from?
Three Amigos. Right down the block.
I've never heard of that place.
Little underground place, underrated.
Yeah, seems very underground.
I've had better. It's right next to Gino's.
Oh, yes, I do. All right, I know that place. There you go. Definitely underground.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk some NBA and a little NHL playoffs as the Rangers tied up the series 2-2. That'll be in a little bit. We are going to start with baseball, though, and in our own town with both the New York teams. We are going to start with the New York Yankees, though, because a lot going on. They're playing right now against the Orioles, so we'll update you as needed throughout the episode. But they are 30-13. They have the best record in baseball, but this has been a rough week for them. Not only losing games and some controversy with players, which we're going to get to in a few minutes, but big time injuries now coming their way.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. You got Loaizaga and Stanton today going on the IL. Yesterday, Chapman goes on the IL. We just found out a couple days ago, Chad Green's getting Tommy John surgery. Donaldson and Gallo and Higashioka were on COVID IL. Donaldson's still on COVID IL. And then he's got to serve his stupid 1-game suspension. But every season isn't perfect. We knew something like this was going to happen. It was going to happen at some point. They were going to get hurt. Something was going to happen. We didn't think it would all happen at this time, but could be worse, knock on wood. And this is a test for the Yankees, right? Keep your head above water. Stay competitive. We're going to see how their depth is. I mean, you look at the lineup today. Miguel Andujar's 2 for 2 right now. He's actually batting right now, working a nice 3-2 count. You have guys that are stepping up. Jose Trevino stepping up yesterday in a big way. Really nice story there. So it's a big test for them, but we're going to learn a lot about the Yankees over these next couple of weeks.
You're going to learn about them fast this weekend as they've got Tampa Bay Rays. They go to Tropicana Field, which isn't the easiest place.
You do not want to play there. That environment is the toughest in baseball.
You joke around, but the Yankees aren't great there.
Well, yeah, probably because they're too distracted from the white baseball because of the white dome that's above their heads. Stupid stadium. It's a stupid stadium.
No doubt they don't play well there, but this has become a rivalry. The Rays and the Yankees, they don't like each other. So this will be a test. They got a 4-game set over the weekend. Then they play the Angels at home for 3, and they play the Rays 6 times here in June. So haven't had a game against the Rays. You're going to see them a lot in the next 4 weeks. And it is a nice test. It's the second best team in your division right now, and a team that you struggled with in the past. So we'll see how these guys hold up, and maybe you get some guy. You're going to get the guys back from the COVID IL, hopefully, for the weekend. I think Gallo was back today. No.
Yeah. Gallo's back today. Donaldson should be back soon. I don't think it counts for him as serving his suspension yet because he's been on the IL. But I mean, this is a big series for the Yankees. There's no huge critical must-win series in May, but this is, one of their biggest series of the year so far. They're facing the second-place team in their division for the first time on the road, 4-game set. So, listen, they're a little banged up. The Rays are a good team. If you can go on the road and split this series, I'm sure the Yankees would take that.
100%.
Anything better would be great. And then obviously if they get into a 3 out of 4 loss or they get swept situation, then, it's a different story. But like I said, it's a big test for them. They're banged up. Guys need to step up. Gleyber Torres' bat is really getting hot lately, right? You need guys to step up and get their bats going. Jose Trevino, I just mentioned. Even Higashioka had a nice hit before. And I think the biggest, I don't want to say question mark, or it's not the right word, but the biggest downside and an anchor for this team that's going to drag them down is Aaron Hicks. I mean, he has been just dreadful. I've never seen a guy break down so much with his approach with runners in scoring position. It's really incredible. He struck out twice yesterday with a go-ahead run on second base.
Yeah, he's been really bad overall. He kind of started off pretty well. Hasn't been great, though. Do you believe, and I'm going to throw Gallo's name into this mix too, because when guys were fully healthy, right now, no, what I'm about to say is not true. But with everybody fully healthy and this team rolling, like we saw them rolling even 2 weeks ago, I believe they can win in spite of those guys. That even if they were doing what they are doing right now, but you had Judge and you had Stanton and you had Donaldson and Rizzo hitting the ball, though Rizzo did not hit the ball in May. Hopefully June, turns that around. But don't you think they could win in spite of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Every team, World Series team or whatever, division winner isn't going to have 9 all-stars, from top to bottom. There's going to be some guys that are below average or average players. Hicks is definitely a below average player so far this year, and I think they've proven they have the best record in baseball. That doesn't matter. They can win with his poor performance. But, at what point we're seeing the Yankees get banged up right now? Aaron Hicks is going to be relied on in a little bit more of an important role. He's been batting leadoff for them the past couple of days, and he hasn't been doing well. So fully healthy, playoff series, if they do get fully healthy, that would be amazing. You'll live with Aaron Hicks batting ninth and being your center fielder or being your left fielder, wherever they put him. But that's not.
I think that's going to be the
case.
I don't think it'll be the case. I do think the Yankees will add at least a fourth outfielder, defensive guy that gets on base, to kind of supplement Hicks or / Gallo if they haven't gotten the bats going yet. But
I mean, I'm looking at his baseball savant page right now, and it's bad. I mean, he's in the bottom 25 percentile in just about everything. He's in the bottom 98% of the league is better at him with barrel percentage. 98%. So he's not hitting the ball hard at all. The only things that he's doing very well is his walk rate and his chase rate. That's it.
It's 11. What is it? $10-11 million. You could just get rid of him.
3 years, $30 million.
That's what $30 million. You're the New York Yankees. You could do it.
That's what you got to get rid of.
Or trade him with a prospect.
And that's one thing with money. Obviously the Yankees are facing a big payday for Aaron Judge in the offseason.
Yeah.
If they do decide to keep him, which, judging that he gets a fully healthy season and keeps his name in the MVP race and everything like that, you would imagine they would want to keep him.
Sure.
There's going to be a little bit of money coming off the books because I think Chapman's done. I think this is his last year as a Yankee. I believe, I would have to double check, but I believe his contract is expiring after this year. If not, he's got one more year. And Hicks, you got to work that out, see what happens, see if you could trade him. I mean, I don't know who the hell would take that contract on or take the player in general, but the Yankees have the money for it. If Aaron Judge is asking for $300 million, they have $300 million that they could give him.
There's no excuse to not bring him back.
Exactly.
You're the New York Yankees. You should be able to do it. And to think that the New York Yankees would be rooting against this guy to not have a great year or to, have an injury where it kept him out for a few weeks and to lower the price. Of course not. The New York Yankees want this guy to have an MVP season like he is having. I mean, he not only an MVP season, he may be chasing Roger Maris's 61.
I don't think that, yeah, exactly. I don't think the Yankees are stressing about this right now. I think they're sitting back, enjoying the season that he's having. They're saying this is great for us, right? He's performing fantastic. And at the end of the day, they'll give him the contract that he wants. And if they don't give him the contract that he wants because he's asking for too much, they'll say, all right, we'll have to move on and find a way to improve in a different way to make up for him leaving. But you're still getting an MVP season out of him, and hopefully they get a World Series out of it this year and everything like that. So if all that works out, I don't think the Yankees are stressing too much if they'll be able to afford him in the offseason, because I think they know they'll be able to afford him and they'll come up to a number that he wants, as long as it's somewhat reasonable. Obviously, if the guy's asking for, historic numbers, like blowing everybody out of the water, maybe not. But I don't think the Yankees are too stressed out about it.
There's a team that was mentioned as a possible suitor if it got to that point. The Giants, who I've always thought made so much sense. He's from there. The Giants haven't really spent a ton of money. They have a lot of money coming off the books with a lot of these veteran players. That always made a ton of sense to me, and they need a star. I mean, they don't really have a star offensively, but it shouldn't, right? And even if it gets unreasonable, it gets unreasonable, and you make a smart decision where you don't overpay for somebody or you don't bid against yourself. I get that. But if the Yankees lose him and it's a number that you kind of had in your mind, what you think he'd be asking for, and let's just say a team like the Giants does make that move, you kind of said it very nonchalantly. It will not go down that way. I mean, if the Yankees lose this guy, period, fans will flip out.
Oh, yeah.
Just the casual fans will flip out whether or not they lose him and it was the right decision or it was the wrong decision.
Well, listen,
People are going to be mad.
I think there's a fine line between saying the casual fan will freak out and then, Yankee fans will freak out, because I will freak out if Judge is gone if it was at a reasonable price, right? If somebody goes out and gives him 10 years, $400 million, then I'll be like, okay, I can understand that. And hopefully the Yankees can make up in a different way. You go out, you make a big trade, we hear Juan Soto's name getting thrown around. It doesn't even have to be him. It could just be another, star in the league to make up for it. It is somewhat. Juan Soto would obviously be definitely making up for it, but you get the point. Listen, it all depends. I mean, I can't see a situation. I don't want to bite my tongue here. And sound, I also don't want to sound like the stupid optimistic fan, but I don't see a situation where the relationship is good with Judge and the Yankees and they're negotiating in, a good faith, right? Judge wants to come back. He's a little flexible and the Yankees don't bring him back, because what have we seen over the past couple off seasons? Yankee fans were dying for them to go out and get Corey Seager, get Freddie Freeman, get Carlos Correa, get somebody, right? Get Trevor Story, Carlos Correa, all those guys we saw this offseason. The offseason before, right? The Mets traded for Lindor. Yankee fans started freaking out, right? Why can't we get a Lindor or somebody like that? We've seen it year after year, and the Yankees haven't spent the money that some of their fans have wanted them to. I mean, they really haven't given out a major free agent contract since Cole. And I know that may sound like, well, that's not that long ago, but, we're talking about the New York Yankees here, a team, big market team that spends a lot of money. So they've held back a little bit with spending big money, and I think that's all lining up for them to extend Judges. I mean, well, they can't extend him anymore. Re-sign Judge this offseason.
Right. And it made a ton of sense that, especially last offseason, not even off seasons prior, that they weren't going after guys like a Freddie Freeman or, the guys you named to sign to a long-term contract. But don't you think that was even more reason to have gotten a deal done in the offseason? And I don't want to go back and play, we're going back and playing devil's advocate on a deal that was not signed over a month ago now, almost 2 months ago. But
well, what was
doesn't that frustrate you a little bit?
Cashman came out and didn't he tell everybody what the terms were that they negotiated? Was it 7 years, 8 years?
They were like $60 million off then.
I think the Yankees, they could have gotten it done in the offseason if they gave him what he wanted, obviously. But I think they kind of said, okay, let's let this play out. We don't need to make a move right now. This isn't an urgent thing. We have this guy for one more year. Let's go see. put him in his contract year and see what he could do for us. And obviously, so far, he's doing incredible. I mean, he almost hit another home run today, and it was a ground rule double, and he also hit a sinking line drive that was caught by Anthony Santander. But he's on track to put up historic numbers this year. So you got to give it to him. The guys should be the captain of the Yankees, right? He's the closest thing to Derek Jeter we've seen in terms of, being a Yankee, right? Carrying himself right and everything like that. So I think it's a no-brainer.
And you bring up the captain thing, and I always think that's overrated. Oh, the Yankee captain, who cares? But I'll say this, he really did handle himself like the captain. It's a perfect segue into our next topic when discussing the Josh Donaldson Tim Anderson incident that went on when, obviously 2 weeks ago you had Josh Donaldson and Tim Anderson getting into it over a tag that Donaldson had placed on Anderson. Anderson was not happy with it. The Yankees won that series 3 out of 4. They come to the Bronx last weekend, and Donaldson and Anderson had gotten into it. Donaldson called him Jackie in reference to when Tim Anderson had claimed that he was the Jackie Robinson of today's game in 2019. And that started a little brawl after Yasmani Grandal confronted him when Josh Donaldson came up to bat. So let me just say this. Donaldson is an idiot. He's an a-hole. We know this, okay? My biggest problem, we're going to talk about how we feel about it. Just one thing. Donaldson's beef with the White Sox has nothing to do with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Donaldson had a prior incidences with the White Sox before he even got to the Yankees. So if I'm Giancarlo Stanton and I'm Aaron Judge and I got to sprint onto that field to defend this idiot that can't shut his mouth, I'd be pissed off. But that's just me.
Right. I get it. I agree. Donaldson is definitely been an idiot over his career. I mean, he's been involved in a lot of conflicts and problems. Like you just mentioned, him and the White Sox had their problems from him making comments about Giolito with the sticky stuff. And he did the same thing with the Yankees last year with Garrett Cole talking about the sticky stuff. And yeah, he's not a very well-liked guy. This whole situation, I think it's a mixture on both sides with Anderson just kind of, it's definitely not making something out of nothing because I don't think it's nothing, but this whole situation was ridiculous. Just watching them, they played 6 games or 7 games over the past week and a half, right? They played back-to-back weekend series against each other. And you had the slide in the first game of that first series where Tim Anderson slid back into the base and Josh Donaldson put the tag on him. And it was a little extra. I don't know if he tripped or he did it on purpose, right? And there was a little beef, and that game they were beefing and should have just ended there. And I don't know if the Jackie comment was made then. But from reading and hearing the storylines, it seems like the comment was made on this past Saturday at Yankee Stadium. And you kind of just saw Tim Anderson bickering with the Yankees and bickering with Donaldson and Donaldson doing it back. And I don't know, the whole situation was just like, it should have ended earlier. And it just kept getting strung on and on and on. And I mean, you're right. If I'm Judge and I'm Stan and any of those other guys that's got to deal with this crap, you kind of get into a point where you're just like, let's let it go. I mean, you're on your own because you want to defend your teammate, but it gets to a point where you get sick and tired and you're like, this is ridiculous. And if I was a White Sox player, I'd feel the same way a little bit up until the Jackie comment thing. But I don't know. I just think the whole situation just got strung on and on and on. And it was stupid.
Yeah. I thought that Donaldson could have handled it a lot better. I thought his post-game press conference after the game was pathetic, to be completely honest with you. Absolutely pathetic. And he looked pathetic. He looked like an idiot. And it's not I understand what you're saying, that it seems to be a bigger deal than it actually is. But when you're dealing with a guy that is just A, not the brightest, and B, a problem. He's made the issue even worse when he comes out after the game and admits he calls him Jackie, and then says that it's an inside joke. I don't have an inside joke with people I don't like.
Yeah.
Okay. And Tim Anderson yesterday, before his game against the Red Sox on Tuesday, had said to a reporter about the incident, he said he had said it to me in 2019 as a joke. And he said something along the lines of, okay, you said this, we never have to speak again. So clearly Anderson was not happy with him in 2019 when he first said it to him. And after all of this happened the weekend prior, where there was an issue with Anderson and Donaldson, what made Donaldson think it was going to go over well again?
Right. Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, I would understand if Donaldson said it to tease the guy, but still, you're not close friends with him. Why, it's stupid to make a comment like that. My only problem with the whole situation is on Donaldson's side, in terms of defending Donaldson, is I think it's ridiculous that he got suspended for a game. I don't get the suspension part.
Okay, here's where I land on the suspension part. Their reasoning is bullcrap. Their reasoning does not make any sense. That he incited a almost brawl at issue on the field. If they want to say we are suspending this guy because he used Jackie Robinson's name in a derogatory, not in a good way, right? It wasn't a respectful way to use his name. And since it was admitted and we know he said that, we're giving him a game. I'd say, you know what? Fine. Because Jackie Robinson is more than a baseball player. He's one of the most important, people to ever walk this planet. What he did was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want to do that, that's fine. Because, again, Major League Baseball treats him like a god, as they should. But their reasoning, basically him trash talking somebody and it started, a fight, an on-field incident. No, you can't suspend him for that, because when somebody else comes, tomorrow night, when the Mets play the Phillies and Bryce Harper calls Pete Alonso a jerk at first base and Pete Alonso gets upset about that. Well, say it's trash talking. Right. You got to suspend Bryce Harper now.
Right.
Especially if it starts, an altercation on the field. So that's where I have an issue.
Oh my God. I was literally just about to make a point. It completely slipped my mind. We're talking about Anderson. Oh, I think the also was one problem I have with it. Why the hell is Tim Anderson comparing himself to Jackie Robinson, though?
Oh, yeah, that too.
I mean, come on. Jackie Robinson's one of the greatest players we've ever seen play the game. And Tim Anderson flipped his bat in 2019 and says he's the modern day Jackie Robinson. It's a little insane, but
no,
I digress.
Listen, Anderson's an idiot. To be honest with you, he's an idiot for saying that.
I get it.
Nobody's
though.
Jackie Robinson.
I understand the Donaldson. He's a jerk. You're right. I couldn't stand him when he was a Blue Jay, and I especially couldn't stand him last year when he was a Twin.
That's the funniest thing. Yankee fans hated this guy last year.
But honestly, I like him now because the Yankees needed a douchebag. We really did.
He's a guy that if he's on your team, you like. If he's not on your team, you hate him.
I don't love him. I do not love him. Like I think he is a little pain in the ass, and can be a douche and whatever. But the Yankees don't really have a lot of assholes on their team.
No, they need it. And when they made the trade, I think I said this exact wording. They needed somebody like this. Yeah. When we were talking about Correa, they needed a villain. They needed a villain on this team, because Judge is not a villain. He's a fantastic player, but he's a great guy.
Right.
Jared Krabis, for crying out loud, did something on DraftKings the other day, like a roundtable discussion, and the host asked him, he goes, who do you think the MVP is? He goes, Aaron Judge. He goes, I don't hate Aaron Judge. I love Aaron Judge. I think he's great.
Right.
So Judge isn't an unlikable player. I don't think Stanton's an unlikable player. I don't hate Stanton.
Mm.
They needed somebody like they had.
They did.
Correa would have worked too. It's fine. Although their fan base kind of hated Correa though. That would have been funny. But listen, it's over now. Hopefully, you don't see them again. And Anderson, I think Anderson right now would probably his numbers are I think are the best out of any shortstop. He's having a fantastic season.
Oh, he is.
And he's great for the game of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
He's great for the game of baseball. But he ain't Jackie Robinson. No way, bro. No way. All right. Let's talk about the Mets.
I really hope this story dies. Like
it's
I
done.
think it is. I think it's done, but
after the appeal, and if he does win it, or if he doesn't and he serves the game, after he serves the game, it'll be done with. I'll talk about the Mets. They lost Max Scherzer last week. And you know what's funny? Oh, AirPod fell up. You know what's really funny?
What?
Before the game, in which was probably the game of the year, where they lost 13-12, that thankfully I didn't stay up for, to the Giants. Before that game, they were 6-1 or 5-1 since he got hurt, which is like very impressive. You know, right. You're winning games, you're on the road, you win games, whatever. That's cool. Fighting through adversity. And now they're 5-3, 6-3, whatever it is. They lose the last 2 games of the series, the Giants. But their depth is going to be tested. They called up Thomas Zupecki, a starter from AAA.
Big start today.
He was we're troubling. He was troubling.
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least.
Troubling.
Good. I don't think, you'd have to go back and look. I saw a couple people reference this on Twitter. I think that's the worst debut for like any Met pitcher ever.
It's gotta be.
I can't think of anything worse. 1 1/3 innings pitched. He has a 60 ERA, 60.75 ERA.
8 earned, 9 earned.
Not 9 earned. He didn't give up a base hit. He got 3 doubles and 4 home runs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no base hit, no walk either.
Right.
3 doubles, 4.
He's the opposite. He won't hold you to a single. He'll hold you to a double.
Yeah. Thankfully.
Why do the Mets have these starting pitching performances this year where they're just imploding? Even yesterday, Chris Bassett had 8 earned?
Yeah, Bassett cannot pitch against the Giants. His 2 worst starts of the season. Not even, and the other one wasn't even bad against the Giants. Just gave up 5 runs, got the loss.
Honestly,
he can't pitch against the Giants.
It's kind of impressive to give up 8 earned at this point in the season and still keep your ERA below 4. If we want to put it in a good light,
what is Bassett's ERA?
It's 3.91.
Oh, that went up. That went up a full run. Last night it was 2.8 something.
Yeah.
He's been really, really good this season. Very good. And not great for your first start as really becoming, the number 1 guy in this rotation for a month, hopefully. Hopefully it's only a month. Not a great start, though. I trust the guy. I think he's going to be fine, but
I think the Mets, obviously Scherzer is a huge blow. DeGrom was a huge blow, but having none of those guys in your rotation now, it's going to be tough for them. And, the starting pitching depth is going to, it's very important. What's the guy's name? Say it one more time.
Zupecki, Thomas Zupecki.
Thomas Zupecki. I don't think he'll be relied on much more going forward.
No.
But, guys in the rotation like Carrasco, he's going to have to step up. McGill should be back soon, though.
Probably a week or 2.
Yeah, McGill should be back soon. So you need guys like that to step up. And the offense obviously is going to have to pick it up a little, but they've been doing pretty well lately. And Lindor's been getting hot, and Pete Alonso continues to hit the crap out of the ball. I think he hit the hardest hit sack fly I've seen in a while yesterday. It was like a sack line out. It wasn't even a fly ball. He does that a lot.
Pete's been very good this season.
He's got a nice swing. When he hits those line drives, they're like frozen ropes.
Almost like Stanton.
Yeah, those balls, they carry the balls that he hits. But listen, the lineup, we talked about it. I think they need another bat, but they'll be okay right now. The division is weak. Jesus Christ, the Braves and the Phillies just continue to play mediocre at best baseball. They'll be okay.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. And I keep going back and looking at June because June is a very tough stretch. They're going to go to the Dodgers, they're going to go to the Padres, and they're going to go to the Angels back to back to back. That's not going to be easy to start June. But like you just said, the division has been pretty bad. And I expect the Braves to figure it out and get better. I do. And I even think the Phillies will be a little better. Their schedule's weaker. I think they'll be somewhat better. Did you see this play that's going around right now?
No.
There's a runner on second base. Phillies and Braves are tied or whatever. Bouncer, runner goes to second. Bad throw from Real Muto. So gets by the second baseman, then gets by the guy backing up the second baseman, and then gets by the center fielder and rolls all the way to the wall.
Oh, come on.
Walk in. Go watch it. It's hilarious. But they continue to shoot themselves in the foot, like Plaxico Burress style. And last night, Tuesday night, excuse me, the game was, they were up 1 in the 9th, and there was a fly ball to right center field, and Roman Quinn and whoever was playing right, I guess Castellanos, couldn't call each other off, and the ball dropped right next to them. The tying run scores, and they give up the walk-off, a couple batters later.
Are we surprised?
No, we're not, but the schedule's been easy. The schedule's been really tough. They're 20-23. I do believe they will get better, but they're 7.5 games out right now. The Mets, have had a commanding lead. Even when they haven't played well the last 20 games, they've gained 2.5 games on the division by going 11-9.
Yeah. I mean, the second place teams are 20-23. Second and third place, they're both 20-23.
The Mets will have the opportunity to face the Phillies this weekend. So we'll see what happens.
MLB's bio on Twitter is #allrise for this bio.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a little like picking favorites here.
Yeah, I think so.
Why don't we get #polar? It's getting cold over here.
No, nobody wants to see that. I hate that nickname, dude. I can't. Polar bear.
Whatever works, because it's
every time working. I hear polar bear, I think of the Charmin Ultra Soft commercials. Like I'm not intimidated.
What about the flying squirrel?
Well, that's great. Who's that? That's a minor league team. That's the Giants minor league affiliate.
They call that's what they call McNeil.
The flying squirrel. Why do they call him a flying squirrel? I don't get it.
So he's fast and he makes a ton of plays.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go on the
quick.
I'm going on the Braves Twitter right now. You think they tweeted this?
I'll just send it to you.
Oh yeah, here it is.
You got it already? I'll get Alvarado pitching. Big guy, Alvarado.
Oh my God.
It's funny. Some of their defensive miscues are funny.
That's
actually a lot of them are.
Looks like our softball game.
No, we played well in our softball.
We played dominant softball.
We
did.
Oh my God. I think the funniest thing is when it gets by the guy that's backing up second base and he has to dive.
I don't know. I think center field's the worst.
Oh my God. And that gives the Braves the lead right there.
Miami Heat up 5 at half.
Who would you be more afraid of if you were the Mets?
Atlanta. The Phillies are not scared. Listen, I'm not afraid to put my pride aside. I picked the Phillies to be a wild card team. This team's not touching the playoffs. They might have that little hot spurt that they have once in a while, but they're just not a fundamentally sound baseball team. You just look at them. The bullpen is still shady, right? The pitching's shady, and the lineup is inconsistent. And, you already have, I hope it's fine. He's been doing okay, but you have this lingering injury with Harper with his elbow. Who knows what's going to happen with that? And defensively, they're just awful.
And it hurts them defensively because out of Castellanos and Schwarber, he's their best defensive outfielder. I don't think it's close. Those two are butcher boys out there. So, yeah, you're right. It's not good for them right now. They've been a 500 team for, I think, since 2018. I think that'll continue. I think they'll be a 500 team this year.
I guess the bright side, this light keeps freaking adjusting. The bright side, if you're a Phillies fan, is Schwarber has to get better. I mean, he's right around the Mendoza line right now. But, how much is that going to do? And who knows if he even will get better?
Well, if he's cold right now, I'm sure he will have the greatest weekend of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Going to play the New York Mets. Just him and Jock Peterson, man.
Is Bryce Harper, I know he's still, young in his contract. Is that going to be another fantastic free agent signing that we compare to like a Max Scherzer signing? Do you think it'll work out that well? He's already got an MVP, and he's gotten 1,000 OPS this year, like hitting the crap out of the ball again.
It's very rare that we say, listen, if they win a World Series, then yes. But if we're excluding that, no, I don't think it'll be, because if you look at Max Scherzer, take the World Series aside, it was still one of the better contracts ever, because for 7 years, that guy was, I think we could say, the best pitcher in the National League. The National League, maybe in the whole league, at least top 2, top 3.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Scherzer was too, like Harper's, we can't, I know that's a tough question I just gave you to answer, because he could be phenomenal for the next 5 years, but the last 3 years of that contract, if he's terrible, then you can't say he's better than Scherzer, because Scherzer, that contract was so good because he won a Cy Young, won a World Series, right? Threw a no-hitter, should have thrown a perfect game. Thanks, Jose Tabata. And he was phenomenal right until the end, right? All 7 years, he was elite. And, Harper's got to do that for the rest of his contract. I know we're comparing apples to oranges with pitchers and hitters here, but still, you gotta be elite for the whole contract.
6 years. It's a huge 6-year difference.
But the Phillies don't care about that. If Harper's bad for the last 3 years, they expected that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't sign up for him to be elite his whole freaking contract.
Let me ask you something. Do you think the Nationals thought when they signed him to that contract that after the 7 years, they would A, have a World Series, and B, trade this guy along with another star to bring in a massive package, to then Scherzer getting $40 million plus a year in another contract? Do you think they would have ever thought that?
Are you talking about what? Are you talking about Trey Turner with trading him?
Yes. Do you think that?
Wait, trading Scherzer or trading Turner?
Take that out. Take the trade out for a minute. Do you think the Nationals, after 7 years of Scherzer, thought after the contract he would get another big contract for $40 million a year?
Oh, no way. I think the Nationals are – I think Mike Rizzo did a good job, right? But I think the Nationals are the luckiest team we have seen in years. Mike Rizzo's career. Mike Rizzo got an amazing break. I don't know if he is a saint or a great guy or whatever, but that guy's luck is pretty damn good, because you let Bryce Harper go, who is now going to be, he's already won an MVP for the Phillies, and he looks like he's going to be a Hall of Famer, go in the Hall of Fame as a Philly probably. And you re-signed Steven Strasburg, who's made 7 starts in the past 3 years, and you gave him a 7-year contract of $200 million or whatever the hell they gave him. You traded away Trey Turner. Scherzer's gone, right? Their future looks terrible right now, and obviously the present is horrible too. But that one small window that they had. And they didn't even win the division, right? Weren't they in the wild card game that year when they won? They didn't even win the division. We were talking about them trading Scherzer at the deadline that year because they were floating around 500. They did not look like a good team. And, man, they got on a hot streak. And, guys, Strasburg pitched his ass off in the postseason. Rendon was hitting the cover off the ball. And they won the World Series. So
they had Scherzer and Strasburg and Corbin and Anibal Sanchez. Remember, he pitched very well in that postseason, all healthy at the same time.
Yep.
That also, too. I think he's a great GM, and I think the rebuild is going to go quicker than you think. And those fans in D.C. love him, love Rizzo. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, look, you let Harper walk in. I think most people – I didn't kill them for that move. I didn't think it was a bad mood.
Well, the Nationals, to let Harper go?
Yeah, I mean, they had Soto. He came at in 18, no? Soto? Yeah. So you saw what he can do that year. You knew who was replacing him. And they had Robles coming up too in 2019.
Yeah, he was a big prize. His name was getting thrown around with Acuna's because they came up around the same time.
Yep.
It's funny because we were considering the Nationals as one of those teams that kind of missed their window, right? We saw all those years they kept going to the NLDS, the NLCS back in the mid to 2010s to the early 2010s, right? They were constantly there and they were coming up short year after year. And it seemed like they missed their window. And then 2019, they had one hell of a run. Them and the Braves. I don't know what the NL East, what they're doing over there, but it's working.
Soon. This year too.
Yeah, Marlins making a run.
We'll get a three-peat. You want to hear something crazy before we end this little baseball segment? So I was listening to John Heyman the other day.
I'm so sorry.
And he brought up a point about the Nationals and Soto because there was a rumor floating around that Soto is going to get traded, and I do not think so. But the Nationals are for sale, and the belief is they will be sold definitely before next season. So before the 2023 season, they will be sold. And they believe part of the deal will be this ownership kind of gets a price range for an extension. And if not, this current ownership will have to trade Soto so that the new ownership doesn't come in and
having to give out a huge contract
and having their first move be trade Juan Soto.
Right.
So that's what Scott Boras
that's one hell of a way to leave.
Right.
Just be like, oh, thank you, Nationals fans. By the way, we traded away the greatest player we've had in the past 50 years.
They're maybe the most talented player in their franchise history.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? I forgot, but yeah, wouldn't that be something? Like new ownership comes in. All right, it would be this is what I want to say. One of the biggest trades possibly ever in prospect. He's not having a great year.
Mm-hmm.
You see this?
Sorry.
Pull it up right now.
I got distracted by a tweet. A Jets star is about to get the bag to the tune of $102 million. It's like an article. Who the hell Quinnen Williams? Who the hell are you giving $102 million to? Oh my God. Quinnen Williams. 5 years, $102 million. Really? That's crazy. Unless he goes out. Is that
serious?
That's like an article, like from Pro Football Focus or something. No, not even heavy.com. Who the hell is this?
Oh, yeah. A reliable source.
Well, it's from a verified Twitter account, but I don't know what the hell he's talking about. No.
That's a very verified source there. You got we're going to come back when we do basketball, give you a score update. But yeah, that's the baseball for you. NL East drama. You think quickly the Blue Jays kind of find their way out of this, or do you think they were seriously overrated this year?
I think they were seriously overrated.
But so you don't think they will find their way out of it?
I think they'll be what they were last year. I think they could be wild card contenders or something like that, but I don't think this team is winning the World Series now.
So my prediction of Blue Jays winning the World Series is not good.
I mean, it's the end of May, so that could change.
Not looking right.
How it's looking right now, I'd say no.
Hey, the Braves were under 500 in August.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's baseball, Susan.
All right, we're going to come back, give an update on the hockey playoffs with the Rangers and then also the NBA playoffs, but that will all be after the break. Here we go. We are back. The Hardline Sports Talk, episode 65. We just did a nice amount of time on baseball. We're going to move on to the playoffs going on in both four major sports here in the U.S., and that is hockey and baseball. We are going to start off with the hockey, though. Tuesday night, the Rangers evened up their series with the Carolina Panthers to Carolina Hurricanes. I always do that. Do that. Carolina Hurricanes.
Panthers.
2-2. Both teams have won their games at home, lost on the road. So game 5, Thursday night in Carolina. I think the winner of that game is going to win the series. Carolina is terrible on the road. Terrible. And they should have lost game 1 to the Rangers at home. If it wasn't for a missed shot that should have went in by Capo Caco. I think that's his name. I think I said it, pronounced it right. But if he hits that shot in the third period to make it 2-0 in the first game, the Rangers are up 3-1 right now, going back to Carolina, trying to clinch it. No, it's 2-2. It's fine. I predicted yesterday before the game on Tuesday afternoon that the Rangers were going to win 4-1 in game 4 and win the next 3 straight to make it 4 straight and win the series. Right. I have that on my phone audio. I still believe that's going to happen. I do think the Rangers will win Thursday night and then come back home for game 6 and clinch it at the Garden. And listen, their next opponent is not going to be easy. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Lightning, who have beat the Islanders the last 2 years in the Eastern Conference Final, they have won 10 straight playoff series. 10 straight. Yeah. The record is the Islanders. They won 19 straight. And that's when they had the 4-peat, and then they went to the Stanley Cup final to win their 5th straight in the 80s, and they lost the Stanley Cup final. But that was 19 straight series. So the Lightning are coming for that record. And I think no matter what, I think the Lightning are going to the final. I don't know if they'll win the final, but I think they're going to beat.
I don't know. Colorado looks like unstoppable.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I don't know if they would.
Although I think that's going to be a good series. I think the Flames Oilers series has been really good, and I think both of those teams are great. I don't know. To me, it seems like a lot of these Western Conference teams seem a little bit more intimidating than the Eastern Conference ones. That's just
they score more.
They do.
They score a lot more.
Yeah, I mean Carolina. I don't think they've won a single game on the road this postseason, right?
They haven't.
They've won every game at home. They're undefeated.
Every game at home. Yep.
That's
a tall task. That's a tall task for the Rangers to do. But they had it done.
I disagree with your take that the winner, obviously, yeah, the odds are going to tell you that the winner of game 5 will have the more likely chance to win the series. But I think this series could definitely go game 7, and I think either team could win that game 7. Maybe, I think we're realizing we either A, hyped up the Hurricanes a little too much, or B, downplayed the Rangers a little too much in this series. It seemed like at one point in game 5, the Rangers could score, 5 goals in one freaking period. Like in the first period, they came out firing and it looked like they could score whenever they wanted to. I think Carolina's lucky that score was only 4-1.
Yes. There were multiple chances.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that Florida is pretty much done against Tampa. I think Tampa advances easily. Is that game?
It's done. That's it. They swept them, I think, last night.
Good job, Jam. Yeah, it's done. But yeah, Colorado looks really good. And I'll tell you, I've watched this Edmonton series a little bit. Calgary's a fun team to watch, but Connor McDavid is just...
I think everybody's pulling for McDavid.
He's something to watch, man. He can skate like no other. He's like doing spin moves on the ice. I'm like, I didn't even know that this is possible.
Colorado up 3-1 in the series, and they are up 3-1 in the game 18 minutes ago in the third period in game 5. So we'll see if they clinch that. And tomorrow, Thursday, you'll have the Rangers and Panthers, and you'll have Edmonton and Calgary game 5s. Huge game 5s there. What was I going to say? Yeah, and something, that I think Ranger fans were concerned about, especially in the first series, was that the first 2 road games, first, Igor did not look great, in the first 4 games of that series. And he even got pulled in a couple of them on the road. in this series, he's been unbelievable. He looks like the Vezina trophy winner. He looks like that guy. So I mean, he's a finalist for the MVP. So he is the winner of the Vezina, the best goalie, and he's an MVP candidate. He's looked like that guy this series, and if he continues to look like that guy, even going into if they can win this series, because a lot of most Ranger fans did not think they were going to beat Carolina. And now, after these two games, and even seeing the first two games in Carolina, I think they have confidence now that they can beat them, and they actually expect them to beat them, and they should. They should expect to win the series.
Is it Vezina or Vezina?
I've heard it pronounced as Vezina.
Vezina. I don't like that hockey doesn't name their awards as just what it is. Like,
Yeah,
you can't just call it like goalie of the year and MVP. Like, you got to have Hart and all these different names.
Right. The MVP is the Hart.
Yeah.
I don't like
Stanley
it. No.
Cup,
that's fine. That's fine.
I know, but it's a little confusing.
Yeah, that's all the hockey talk. I've been watching a lot of hockey. I'll say that. So I've really been caught up. I'm gonna get into it. I'm a diehard Ranger fan. What can I say? I gotta get my gear. I gotta buy a hat or something.
Stop proclaiming yourself as a diehard because you.
I know I hate doing that because I am a fan. I'm a casual Ranger fan. I'm rooting for them.
Extremely casual. You're not even casual.
I'm like
a casual fan. Like, you keep up with the team throughout the season.
I do keep up with the team. I can tell you players. I watch games.
Now, never.
Not even just the postseason. I do a little bit.
Move on. You're gonna get me mad.
Listen, I have a team in the playoffs. Let me get excited. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
All right. NBA, which, by the way, has been freaking atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And can we say this? I have never seen teams in any sport be so nonchalant about leaving guys out in a postseason game.
You're talking about the Warrior game when putting the starters back in?
No, I'm talking about today. I get an injury report. All right, Smart's actually going to play tonight after not playing game 4. And Robert Williams, who plays every other game, he's going to play tonight. And Tyler Hero's out. And Kyle Lowry missed a bunch of games. And Jimmy Butler comes out of games. Like, listen, I'm not telling you to play through a torn ACL. But even if you got a little nagging injury, can you please get on the court and play postseason basketball? You're in the Eastern Conference Finals, for crying out loud. And we're sitting here, resting guys. Oh, he's not that good. We're gonna save him for game 5. You kidding me?
Right.
I can't get it. I cannot get into the NBA playoffs.
The load management, all that stuff. It's soft. I can't believe the lack of good basketball games that we've seen. This is the worst postseason of all time. It has to be.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Every game is like a 20-point blowout. Even the Warrior game on Tuesday night was a 10-point difference, but it was way worse than 10 points. The Warriors just made it close at the end, like garbage time.
The Warriors scored a ton of points in the fourth quarter. I think they outscored it by 19 in the fourth quarter, but that game never got like, this is kind of close. Like tonight, we're lucky in game 5 with the Boston Heat series that, it's a 1-point game right now. But Siri just went off for a minute. I'm sorry.
You're wearing your hat like Sauce Gardner.
I know. Gotta put it nice. But yeah, terrible basketball. Done with the NBA. NHL is better anyway. See, diehard hockey fan.
Big hockey guy right here.
Big hockey guy. But yeah, that's my biggest problem right now with the NBA playoffs is that, like, how do you sit guys out? We can talk about the game. I mean, they're not good. They're not competitive. No. They're literally to the point where you turn the TV on, you see, basketball's on. So it's been on every night. It's good. Put it on. Oh, the Heat are winning by 30. Okay. Turn it off. That's it. It's done. There was one game in this whole entire series before tonight where Miami was winning big. It was game 3 in Boston, and they were winning big, and Boston made like a miraculous comeback. That was when Butler got hurt and didn't come back in, and they made it somewhat close, but then Miami ended up winning by 10 anyway. They went on a run late, and they won.
Do you know about the former Nick streak?
Is that true? I can't really get to believe that.
75 years.
I don't really believe that.
Why?
I just don't. I just don't believe that.
So you got Luke Cornett is on the Celtics.
Yes.
And Frank Ntilikina is on the Mavericks. So the Mavericks seems very unlikely. But the Celtics, the Celtics is a little bit more realistic.
They'll win. What's a better matchup? What do you want to see in the NBA Finals?
Celtics Warriors. Easily.
Okay, yeah. Because that's like, I heard that debate on the radio the other day. That's history. Like, this is one of the most historic franchises ever. It maybe in all sports, one of them, top 5 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like this new school dynasty Warriors who have came back from, the dead almost and are playing big time meaningful basketball with the core of guys that did it the last time. It's special. It's
talking
really,
about
really
you talking about Michael K?
Yes, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, that was like the worst take. He was saying that the Heat Warriors was a better matchup than Celtics Warriors.
Or
and
like it wasn't
from like a basketball standpoint. He was just saying like from entertainment. I was like, no.
God, I don't even know if he was like sticking by it or if it was just, trying to play devil's advocate.
I think he was just trying to be different.
Like, oh my God, but that's something where you can't even be different. Like, this is easy. What I have 3 tweets right now and a text from your brother and also a tweet from your brother. Please get Aaron Hicks off this team. Is Aaron Hicks kidding me with that play? Catch the ball, Hicks. What happened?
I don't even know what happened, but all I know is it's 1st and 3rd, 2 outs, 0-2 count in the 9th inning right now. Clay Holmes on the mound. Oh, he went. Oh, blue. Clay Holmes is having an insane season. I mean, it's historic right now. It's crazy. Oh, that was borderline. Sorry. Big moment. Yankees Orioles, May 25th.
They won.
Season on the line.
Yankees won. Already got that.
What?
Yankees won. They won the game. They won the game.
Okay. Yeah, they just won. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for spoiling it.
I don't know. Why did I click on it and it said Yankees
I don't know. My
win.
Yes app is delayed.
Oh, I didn't know you were watching on the Yes app. I'm sorry. I thought you were following it on game day. That's my
JP
fault.
Sears gets
how many innings did he go?
5.
Wow.
Beast.
Good for JP Sears. Hey, is that his first major league game?
No.
Did they just call him up from AAA?
Oh, my brother's calling me to complain about Aaron Hicks. I'll call him back.
Did they just call him up from AAA?
They did. He was up with the team in the beginning of the year as like a reliever. He actually got a win. He just came.
Well, at least your guy had a better first outing starting of the season than my guy.
Yeah. A little different.
Yep. Yeah. So the Warriors, they lost game 4, like we just talked about. The Mavs complete a sweep. I mean, the Mavs avoid the sweep, excuse me. But I think the Warriors will complete the gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
On what would that be? Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
So big Thursday night. Got the hockey, got the NBA playoffs.
It's ramping up.
Always baseball, and the Mets aren't playing, but
yeah.
Yankees start a big series in Tampa Bay. There's some good sporting events on this weekend.
Hopefully we get a little bit more juicier sports news. I think we became numb to it because of the crazy NFL offseason that we had and all that stuff that was going on with baseball offseason was going on at that time too. But
I think you're overblowing this. I think you got, I mean,
we got important playoff series going on, but storylines, there's not a lot to talk about right now.
Not a ton of big storylines. You're right. But you do have the playoff series. I mean, it sucks that the NBA has been just not entertaining.
It looks like the Celtics game will at least be pretty entertaining. I mean, it's stayed close throughout the whole game so far.
We'll see.
Low scoring game, though.
I like the low scoring.
Jason Tatum 3 for 12, but he's in triple double territory. He's passing the ball around.
Triple doubles mean nothing.
Yeah, they do. Not they
I
don't.
mean, absolutely. I don't think so. That'll probably do it. We'll have an NBA Finals matchup, I think, next time. We'll have the conference finals in hockey. We'll have answers to our baseball teams, hopefully. Big weekends for both against division rivals.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we get more storylines. I think we will. I think we'll be fine. We'll be good.
Law of averages. We'll have a big week.
We'll be good. But this was episode 65, and we'll talk to you guys next time.